It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
Welcome to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Welcome in to Naked, Nudists, and Naturist, episode 5 for you today. Thank you for being with us. I jokingly said a few weeks ago, we're going to have 1 million of these, maybe 10 million, and when we get there, you'll say, wow, the 10 millionth episode. I remember when I listened to 5. So I wanted to ask you a question. I've always thought, in the world of sports, as you know, the Olympics years ago were done in the nude. Athletes showed up, and everything they did within their games, track and field, swimming, you name it, whatever the Olympic sports were back then, they did them fully naked. Now, we might set up a special segment on a show in the future to explore why they did that naked. There are reasons why they did. Unfortunately, there are probably reasons why they stopped, and I don't understand those reasons, and I've always thought, even as a kid, I used to think this. I was heavily active in sports. Why don't people play the games naked? I played sports naked when I was a kid, played baseball in the backyard, played basketball. At some point, the clothes go on, and if you play sports, in school or for your church team, or even for a recreation league, you're dressed. Not to mention the high school, the college, and the professionals. I've always thought a couple of things. First of all, let's just look at the professional athletes. Those are the best athletes in the world at their given sport. Far beyond gifted than I ever will be, and that most people will be. They have the best bodies, of course, because they're in shape. They have to stay in shape to play. So why don't they play the sports naked? And I'm not kidding about that. Not only would it be more natural, see them in a more natural state, but think about ticket sales. They'd be through the roof until everybody accepted it as normal. If tomorrow the, let's say, Major League Baseball sent all their players out there naked, well, darn well every TV in the land would be tuned in. Oh, boy, baseball players naked. How good does this get here? But if they kept doing it, eventually, there's a baseball game tonight, you want to see it? No, I'm kind of busy. I'll catch tomorrow night's game. Because seeing naked athletes at that point would not be a very big deal. It would just be part of our culture, part of our society, part of the clothes-free living. So let's head out to our correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Good morning, Frank. I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Doing really well and extra naked, and so are you. We should probably tell our listeners that, so we're not hiding anything, are we?
Not at all. We are definitely into this naturism thing in a good way.
Now, Lisa, you wanted to come in today and talk about naturist clubs, nudist clubs, whatever we want to call them. Basically, some tips, as I understand, for people trying it for the first time.
But basically, you want to know what the facilities are, what's available.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest question, however, is it clothing optional or clothing free? If you're expecting clothing optional, which, you can, when you want to put on that shirt and pants and because you need to hide a little bit or you just are uncomfortable and you're at a clothing free environment, that's not going to be well received by the other members and people that are there. So you really need to know where you're going and know what you want from where you're going. So that's, I think, the biggest thing that you should ask. As naturist, naturism in its real core is family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people will take their children, but you need to make sure the facilities are good enough for your children. Are there playgrounds? Are there kiddie pools? Are there organized events? Find out, some good information so you can make it an enjoyable experience for your children as well.
Let's get to part 1 now of my interview with Joshua Lysek. As I mentioned before, he's the only, as far as we know, he's the only certified ghostwriter and certified hypnotist. He does both. He's certified at the highest level for each one of them. But we're going to talk about Naturism today and his experience with nudist retreats and just how he approaches his entire clothes-free life. Just tell us a little bit about some of these nudist retreats you've been on. It's up to you if you want to give the names of the places. You certainly can. You don't have to, but Basically, what goes on there? You drive there. I'm assuming when you drive there, you're in your clothes. You pull up into the parking lot, just take over from there. What happens?
Yeah, yeah. And the way that I describe the nudist or naturist experience to people, and you're right, they are always a little, wait, you're a what? You do what? With what?
That's right.
Without what?
Yeah.
Is the experience I often get. But then I will say the following. When everybody is naked, nobody is naked.
Yeah.
And then say, wait, what do you mean by that? So the first thing people think of when they hear you go to nudist retreats, nudist resorts, the first thing they think is, okay, what is this? Some kind of exhibitionism, some kind of not safe for work stuff? What is this?
Yeah.
Because here in the United States, a lot of people, both older generations and younger generations, of course, associate nudity with not safe for work with, let's say, some sort of sexual activity.
And there you go. Part 1 of my interview with Joshua Lysick. You can find him at lysickghostwriting.com or particularly on Twitter. He interacts a lot on Twitter about naturism. You've been listening to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 5 today. We come to you every Saturday morning at 6 o'clock a.m. with a brand new show for now on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and definitely check out our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked, Nudist, and Naturist.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked, Nudist, and Naturist. Have a great clothes-free day.